So what's up? It's Georgia Third, back with George Talks. And our next topic of discussion is, what are you afraid of? In the midst of love, life, and relationships, we talked about pain and trust issues. We talked about, trust and love. We talked about I can't love you. We talked about know your body, know your environment, relationship 101. And people are still out here afraid. So what are you afraid of? Zach's gonna drop some, introductory knowledge on y'all about what he's encountered. Then we're gonna figure out a way to overcome your fears in a relationship.
Oh man, fear. I can't say that I'm not afraid of anything in particular, but to be honest, I used to struggle with believing that somebody could love me.
That's powerful.
And at one point in time, I felt as though either my intelligence would prevent me from finding a suitable partner because they wouldn't able to understand my perspective of the world around me, or that I would be able to give so much and that someone wouldn't be able to reciprocate the love that I give to them. And then I realized that I gotta be great. And the only way that someone else is gonna be able to love me is if I'm as great as I could possibly be.
Right.
And through that, I decided to take time to myself, think about it, figure out how can I actually be great.
Right.
And I started making moves, organizing myself, getting my life together, and now I'm on the way to be great.
And that, really sums up the epitome of the quality relationship, which is a growth partnership, which is an entity in which you're growing alongside me, and I am figuring out who I want to be and am meant to be, but I have love to carry me on that journey.
Amen.
And it's crazy because, I shared the same fear, do I talk too much? Do I think too much? Who gonna love me, Jesus? But what it really came down to was, if I love myself and I understand my worth, I can't be afraid of who's meant to love me, because they can only match or do better than my love for myself. Let alone, faith dropped the love I have for God and the God who loves me, because that is the epitome of unconditional love.
G.O.D. Hold it down.
Right, you gotta, one time shout out for the man upstairs. And if you don't know him, get to know him.
Get to know him.
He just might
get to know him.
I have a feeling he could, answer prayers. And to be honest, I used to be afraid of, quite simply, expressing myself intimately. Because I was am I going to be validated? Am I doing this right? Am I going to be good enough?
Someone going to take advantage of me after I open up? That's
right. What if I do something that's out my character? She was special, So I shared one of my pieces with her. Or I shared, a long kiss that I intended to with her. And then she dogged me for it. That would hurt. And that pain, can lead to those pain and trust issues. But that fear has to be trumped by the love that, can be compounded and formalized through commitment, through setting standards about yourself, through knowing your body, so that you're not afraid of what somebody can do to your body. And if you know your body, who else can take?
Yeah, right.
If you know your environment, who can take advantage of you? You know what I'm saying? Not that all these things are cut and dry, Fact drop, 1 to 3 women are victims of rape, and that can be a fear for women. But the number one way in which you can do that is to, as best you can, be responsible of, staying out of situations, that can be of danger to you. Don't travel alone. You know what I'm saying?
Buddy system.
Don't always go with a come through text. If you don't feel comfortable, don't do it, and trust your gut.
Oh yeah.
There are too many, ways in which to prevent it, but sometimes there isn't a way. But the one thing I can say is, through your fears, know that there's always one more person who will love you, because God always loves you. And I'm not saying that I have the answers, to how to, fix those who've been taken advantage of sexually, because that's something you don't just recover from overnight. But I do know that love and healing and patience and meditation can help you overcome, what you dealt with. because you can't undo the things that happen in life. But what you can do is change how you react to it. You can mold your vessel to better receive it and to better receive what's meant for you. You know what I'm saying? I know Zach has a little more to say. You know?
Yeah, I feel like when it comes to fear in general, we need to ask ourselves the question. Well, a couple questions to be honest. What is fear to us, and what do I fear?
Amen.
By asking yourself, what is fear to me, you better understand what you're afraid of.
Exactly.
By understanding the concept of fear, why it scares you, how it scares you, you can start making progress towards building that strength up to overcome that fear.
Exactly. And that simply comes with practice.
Absolutely. People say that becoming happy isn't something that you can do overnight. But that unhappiness comes from a fear of wanting to be happy.
Huh?
You feel what I'm saying? You feel what I'm saying? So it's like if I decide one night that I'm not gonna let whatever I've been through hold me back,
Amen.
And I'm going to face that fear of happiness, I can wake up the next morning and be like, it's a new day, it's a new leaf, blank slate, and you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna choose to be happy.
And practice being happy. Because the more you practice, the more real it becomes to you.
Facts.
You know, I heard this, a mentor told me that you're always practicing in your life. So whatever you attract to, whatever you bring to you, is always going to lead to whatever you
right. You get out of it what you put into it.
If you practice fear, you're going to always be stuck in what?
Fear.
But if you practice happiness.
Happiness!
Like, shout out to Pharrell because he said, "Cause I'm
happy, clap along if you feel like a room without a roof."
And guess what he did? He got y'all practicing being happy, huh?
Mm-hmm. Ha!
On that note, overcome your fears by practicing love, being happy, and doing what you need to do for yourself. So, it may not be love and being happy. It may be anxiety.
Right.
And I know through the curveball, but do what you need to do for yourself, huh? But what that really means is if you have a specific issue, figure out what it is. I had a fear of certain social hierarchy things because I go to a school where that's a big deal. Oh, status and that. But know what? I was like, forget it. You're a human being like me. I'm over it. I'm gonna practice socializing because I socialize.
Right.
You know what? I'm good at it now, and I'm happy. Hey, George Talks with
Zach Piff.